In this video, we are talking Disneyland Resort attendance. The reservation calendar seems to be wide open, but what's going on? Because, we're seeing stuff in Florida too. This is kind of weird. We got some maintenance issues over at Universal Orlando, and we're going to talk some D23 Expo, some hints of maybe things to come. We have a lot to talk about today. Up next on to another episode of OG 55. In this video, like I said, we have a lot to discuss today because it is a very interesting time that we live in, my friends. A very, very interesting time. A lot of interesting stories happening. So,
well, I thought, we were putting, we had a 45-minute video on grass. We had a 2.5 hour live stream. I thought we had a video after. I thought we hit it all. But come to find out, there's a couple more stories that deserve your attention. So I am glad to be here, sir. Thank you for having me on. We'll dispense with the pleasantries real fast. If you want to go ahead and follow me, you can go ahead and do that at Vash Sky. Like I said, trying to get over 1,000. Like we have said before, we'll have some special stuff on that. And you guys have been doing pretty well. I've been seeing that the numbers go up, so I do appreciate all the support. Seriously, thank you. Pump them up. There you go. Let's go. Right? Hit the like and subscribe on this video too while you're at it. And good stuff right there. And if you want to see me, well, it's gonna be the channel you're watching right now at Orange Grove 55 at Freshly Squeezed. Your source for juice, news, and info squeezed fresh right from the Grove.
Perfect.
Orchard fresh and delicious.
Perfect. Let's dive right in. Our first topic at hand. Yesterday on our live show, if you haven't checked out the live show, by the way, you can check it out on the replay. It was fantastic. But we dove into kind of what's going on with the Magic Kingdom. Like the last 2 weeks, the attendance, the bottom fell out. Busy, and all of a sudden, boom, nothing. Dead. And our friend Braden at Mickey Views had a fantastic video on it. We have a whole thing yesterday, a live show. It was fantastic. But we didn't really focus on Disneyland Resort. Yeah. And Disneyland is a interesting topic as well. So, Dre, I'm going to go ahead. Let's get the party started. I'm going to go ahead and share your screen, and we'll kind of go from there, I guess.
Absolutely. So, we were having that live stream last night. And, look, like I have said this before on this show, my mother knows, her intuition is unparalleled. She knows her stuff when it comes to this kind of stuff. She's very, very smart. And she said to me, she's like, watch the live show. Very good. But have you checked Disneyland recently? I said, you know what? I haven't. I didn't even think about it because honestly, pretty much as at least a ticket holder. Now, I'm not saying that this is applicable to necessarily Magic Key holders, but as a ticket holder with this new reservation system, you pretty much know from the day you're sitting, at right now, 2 weeks on, you can't get anything, right? So you got to be at least 2 weeks out to really kind of schedule stuff and go from there, right? So I didn't even think about it. I thought, well, for the probably next 2 weeks, probably booked out, and we'll see what happens into the holidays. Didn't really think much of it. Well, she saw the September green, basically, at for Walt Disney World for their calendar. I thought, never thought about it. Well, maybe we should check Disneyland. So I bring it up, and what you're seeing on screen, folks, is what I find. I took some screenshots really fast. You can see I looked this up at 12:14 a.m. September 3rd. So it's basically, if this video comes out on Saturday, it's today. And up to the day, everything was green. As long as you weren't blocked out with your ticket type, if you had like the Enchant key or Magic key or something like that, you could basically get in same day. Again, two things here to remember. One, Labor Day weekend. Historically, huge numbers. And I mean, this is the reservation system is relatively new, obviously, but prior years, Labor Day weekend's insane. But the second thing is, this is the first Saturday that you have Halloween available at the Disneyland Resort. Everything's activated, everything's online. You would think that there would be a mad dash, and we'll get to a mad dash in a second, right?
Yeah.
But to have this calendar this green across the board, no matter ticket type, this is something, OG. What do you think?
It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating what's going on here. I think there's. Look, I gotta be real. I don't really have an answer. To be honest, I don't really know for sure. I don't really have even a concrete theory as to what this could be, but I have a few ideas as to maybe what it could be. One kind of theory that I have, and I don't know, this is kind of iffy too, because the reservation thing is usually in advance, but it's been, I'm going to share my screen, but like here in Cali, it's been, oh man, we got some interesting interesting ads here on weather.com. But it's crazy. But Anaheim has been going through, well, not just Anaheim really, but Southern California's been going through like a major heat wave. You can see here excessive heat warning. You know, it feels like 103. Now, I can vouch for this. I mean, this has been it's been crazy hot, and I'm a summer guy. I mean, I typically enjoy the heat, but this is kind of borderline uncomfortable even for me.
Oh well, hey, Arizona, if you're doing 100, you're actually doing pretty good. Right. I don't think you get 120. But you're right though, Anaheim, it has been over 100 degrees this entire week. To your point, go ahead.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And actually, right before the show, my buddy Ryan, I'm not going to put him out there too much because I don't know if he wants to be out there, but he actually texted me right before the show, which is interesting. But I'll show you his text message. And he said, "Dude, it's so hot. I was going to go to the parks, but it's too hot." This is interesting because I think that this is actually part of the equation. Again, not the whole equation. I am not excusing the low attendance on the heat, but I think this is part of it. I do think that this is turning some people off because it is uncomfortably hot right now. It is. But still, though, I mean, this is weird. Now, another thing that I want to bring up, which I think is kind of interesting, is these are the magic keys. These are the magic keys, right? So this is the bucket for the magic keys.
Yes.
The key holders, according to the availability, are not really lining up to go to the parks.
They're not.
Is this like a maybe a sign of a problem with the magic keys? Like in terms of like maybe not necessarily... Maybe Disney's starting to have a little bit of a demand problem with the magic keys. What I'm trying to say is this becoming an issue? Is the unfavorables thing playing into this? Is this a protest withdrawal? And I'm not saying yes or no. I'm just kind of putting it out there because I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Like, what is it?
Well, I know, and remember we talked about it on the live stream. I was talking about brand withdrawal, right? This kind of like this pulling back from these kind of historically loyal fans who are just kind of like, I'm not super enthused about the company right now. We were talking about it in the context of that show, but, to your point here, is that what we're seeing here? Honestly, I don't know. And I'm glad you brought up the Magic Key thing because I think it's very interesting because remember, everybody, when they bought Magic Keys originally, last year, August 25th, right? When the system went live, we saw the calendar fill up immediately because everybody bought it and they were like, okay, well, you gotta make reservations now. You gotta make them now, or else you're not gonna be able to. So that calendar filled up, right off the bat. I was expecting something similar to happen as people renewed, just a couple weeks ago, right? That's not happening here though, as is plainly evident between all of these calendars. Outside of the passes, like I said, that are blacked out as they are for their admission type, right, for their blackout date calendar. Outside of that you're talking about 6 days between all of these calendars that are booked up by the various types. 6 days. I mean you should be seeing at least 14, if not more, spread around all these ticket types, and yet we're only seeing 6. And really, it's mostly between Saturdays and Sundays, which okay, but I'm telling you, OG, this is very weird here. Why are we experiencing soft reservations at both resorts?
All right.
Now I understand the weather argument, and I get that. And yes, it has been oppressively hot, and I would understand why people may not choose to go on those days. But that shouldn't
school starting and stuff like that. There's factors.
It's a factor, for sure. But that shouldn't affect reservations, though, right?
Right.
Because if it's hot that day, you either cancel your reservation or you go for a little bit. You go out or you take the punishment, whatever. It shouldn't affect reservations.
Right.
It's a very, very weird thing. I've not seen this before. Usually, September, especially at the start of the holidays like this, you'd start to see this kind of stuff blacked out a little bit. We're just not seeing it. I honestly, I don't know. I'm asking the audience here.
Right. I don't know either.
Really, I don't know what's going on here between these two resorts. This is very strange. I can understand Florida because they don't have a high annual pass holder population, right? So
no,
okay,
and the competition in Florida right now is really ramping up their Halloween horror night kind of events. So the focus right now, at least in Florida, isn't Disney. It's Universal, and I think even SeaWorld does these kind of Halloween events, and they're huge over there. I mean, it's huge over there in Orlando. It's huge out here, but it's really is a lifestyle out there in Orlando. So I can kind of understand that a little bit. That's kind of sucking away the attention from Disney. But out here in California, that's not so much the case. I'm wondering too, and again, this is kind of like just putting out the questions. Questions that I honestly don't know the answer to. Does this help or hurt the key holders? Because we had a quarterly earnings report a few weeks ago with Chapes, right? With Chapek. And Chapek said, the unfavorables, they're not spending money. It's an unfavorable attendance mix. Now, does this help the key holders? Like if they withdraw from going, does it make Disney sit up and go, okay, we have to bring them back in? Or does it hurt the key holders in the sense where they're unfavorable before, now they're even more unfavorable because at least before they were going, now they're not even going? Where do we fall on that? From the company's perspective, does this give the key holders more clout or less clout in terms of the business end of it?
I think it gives them more for sure. I think in lieu of domestic and international travel, I think Disney does want pass holders. Now, we just had a deluge of domestic and international tourists. Why necessarily do you need pass holders when everybody and their moms wanted to go to these places from all over the country or all over the world, for that matter, right? But and as we've said before in this show before, when this kind of drops off, that's when you want the annual pass holders, right? And that's what Christine Weisman McCarthy said. She says we're going to pull those levers there, and if we see demand abate here, we're just going to put it on here. So it's good for annual pass holders, I think. And I think it's, in her words, she has kind of alluded to that being a good thing, let's say, for pass holders and their interests. Okay. But
one more question, though, too.
Sure.
Is this a pullback, or is this Waistlines McCarthy pulling a lever and putting more reservations availability into the bucket? That's another interesting question.
I would say yes, but that's why I have the ticket calendar as well on here.
Let's do it.
Well, it's over on the screen that you're seeing right now. It's all the way over on the left.
Oh, got it.
That's
okay.
the ticket calendar, right?
I'm blind. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. But that's why I had that on there, because of that very question, right? Because I would have expected, okay, well, if it's open for annual pass holders, maybe it's closed for ticket holders. Maybe they just sold out of those, and we're just pulling the levers, right? It's open across the board. For Labor Day weekend, there is no date that has been booked up. Not one amongst any of the tickets.
Weird. It's weird.
Now, I know you're seeing crosses out. Remember, the crosses out are the blackout dates that are usually,
Right.
But outside of those, for Labor Day weekend, for the first weekend of the Halloween season, I'm telling you, OG, this is strange here. And go ahead.
No, it is weird. But the weird thing to me too, though, and this is like just my own kind of like, I guess maybe my own assumption.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like kind of like brand pullbacks, right? Like my kind of mindset with brand pullbacks is more gradual, right? Like I feel like that's going to be something that you're going to see sort of in the graphs that kind of go a gradual decline.
Yes.
The brand is kind of taking a hit and it's going to be a gradual decline.
Right.
What's fascinating about this though is that it's a cliff. It was busy, boom, drop, the bottom fall out. That's what's kind of tricking my mind a little bit, where I don't know what it is, because I feel like if it was some sort of brand pullback, you would see more of a gradual decline, not just a drop, like a complete and total cliff dropping off, bottom falling out scenario. Am I wrong to assume that?
No. I don't think you're wrong. I think there would be a gradual decline,
right,
as reflected across several quarters, probably, if not several years. I don't think a brand drop off would have a precipitous cliff like this, which alludes to it being other external factors. Something happened. Maybe it's in the marketplace. Maybe it's like, hey, look, inflation's real high, and the check has come due, and here we go. Maybe it's just the like we said before, the revenge trips or whatever. Those have kind of dropped off there a little bit. I think that's what's kind of going on with other industries, other theme park proprietors like Six Flags and so forth. Right, demand's kind of abated there. But it's like, okay, well, you got the locals, right? Get them in, and or maybe the international tourists are coming in. I understand that Europe's having kind of a hard time. That's going to be very interesting to watch there. But something happened here. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's brand withdrawal. I don't know if it's just economic downturn. I don't know if it's just locals saying, you know what, had enough, or if it's a combination of all those things.
Right.
Because we would, like you said, we would see that across. I mean, maybe like, okay, the annual pass holders, they have access, but maybe ticket holders don't, because they switch the levers, right? They just okay. We've saturated the amount of ticket holders that we're going to have, so let's switch on over to annual passes, backfill it in, we're good to go. We don't see that. No. Likewise, maybe annual pass holders are good, but ticket holders are open, right? So we switch the lever the back way, right? Okay, let's front load with annual pass holders, and then have the park fill up with as many international and domestic tourists as possible, and then we'll switch that off, open up a little bit more annual pass holders. Boom, we have as much as satiated supply as possible.
Right.
The only thing I can surmise is that demand has dropped off.
Right. But then we go.
Why?
Then we get into this whole thing with the parking structure.
Yes. Yep.
Which makes me even more confused, because this is weird. This indicates. God, I don't know.
So
I'm so lost.
To give people an idea of what we're talking about, we go from this, okay, to now on Friday night. This is last night here. This is the line for security to get into, to the tram kind of load from within the parking structure courtyard here. If you know this area, you know this is nuts. This is nuts.
I honestly, in all my years coming to Disneyland, I've never seen this. I've never ever seen this. This is
see this
crazy.
Kind of curved walkway here. This is where the escalator actually comes down to its. This is where it reaches the ground. Again, this is a huge courtyard area, and we'll see another video of this. But
yeah.
This whole thing this line has backed up all the way to the start of the escalators on the Mickey and Friends side. That is insane. That's crazy. And you'll see how big this is with this video here. I'm going to go ahead and give credit to Derek here on Twitter, and then we have this. I'll go ahead and give Exploring Attractions credit as well. 7:30 p.m. walking out of Disneyland, and I see this.
By the way, real quick shout out to Exploring. He does really cool theme park content.
Yeah,
on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Check him out.
100%. So this is what he encountered at 7:30 p.m.
Dude, that's crazy. I mean, that's why I can't wrap my head around this, because I'm like, okay, the reservations calendar is wide open. Your day of reservations available. And then this is happening at 7:30 at night to get into the park. What is this? This is chaos.
This is chaos. Now, I think two things have happened. Maybe three. Okay. One is, like you said, it's very hot. Nobody wants to go during the day.
Right.
This is 6, 7, right? Okay. People got off work. We're going. Two, it's Halloween, so a lot of those entertainment experiences are, best held at night, right? So if you want to go on Haunted Mansion Holiday, or if you want to see the fireworks and all that, you got to show up in the evening. Boom. Third, I think this is a severe lack of proper resource management. So it's not just those factors of the night. The night festivities that people are kind of rushing for after work, get off, here we go. It was Friday. But this is also, I think, and we've seen this before, even pre-Pandy, I will fully admit, sometimes Disney underestimates the demand at these certain entry points, like security. When big events happen and so forth, and they just don't staff up accordingly for these big rushes. This happened pre-Pandy too. They don't expect it. They kind of go with their typical staffing procedure, right, where it's going to be front loaded towards the start of the day and then slowly wean down. Well, think about it. If you slowly wean down, then you have an event like the start of Halloween take place at 6:30. I think this is where that's coming from. So I think that's kind of where that is. Again, hey, look, listen, if the parks fill up like this every single day, even if the reservation calendar's open, right, is it necessarily a bad thing? No. It's just kind of weird how we're not getting reservations in advance. And it's weird how we're seeing stuff like this. I don't think this will last for too much longer. I think this is just the annual Passel the Rush. Got to see the opening festivities of Halloween. I think that's what this was all about. Oogie Boogie Bash doesn't start until I think that's the 2nd or the
6th, I think, right?
6th, sorry, 6th.
Something like that.
Yeah, so this is clearly not that. This is something else. The park closed on this day. This is 9/2, the 2nd, on Friday. They closed at midnight, DCA 10 p.m. So I think this is the start of Halloween time, and it just caught security off guard. So I think that's what kind of happened there. But huge demand, which is good.
Right.
But it's not reflected in the reservation count.
It's not reflected. That's the weird thing. Yeah. And it's such a sudden drop off. Like, I was just at Disneyland last weekend. Like a week ago today, I was there at Disneyland Resort, and it was busy. It was busy. So this weird kind of drop off on the holiday weekend of Labor Day, Labor Day weekend, this weird kind of like just went over the cliff, just huge drop off. Reservations wide open. It's strange. It's really freaking strange. So
one question.
I can't. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
I do agree with you. I can't figure it out either. I have one question for you though, because I'm thinking about this. Because I believe it was asked to me. Like I said, mother intuition. Okay. Do you think, because a lot of people have been kind of speculating that maybe this would happen based on what we've experienced very, very recently. Do we think Magic Key sales will begin again to everybody relatively soon because of something like this?
I think it would have to go on a little longer than just a few days or a week. I think if they I think it was our buddy Wildest that kind of made the point in the live show yesterday, saying like if this goes on until the end of September, early October, I think Disney will definitely make moves to sort of address that. So like, allowing key holders to buy in would be on the table at that point. A few days, a week, even a couple of weeks, I don't know if that's enough to really motivate Disney to kind of like react. If it continues though, if it continues and we get into like a month and a half, oh yeah, I can definitely see them. Okay, we'll reopen the Magic Keys. Come on, y'all. Come on, we love you on favorables. We're not there yet, in my opinion. I think it's kind of early. A week, a 2-week thing isn't enough yet, but we could. If it gets to the end of the month and we're still seeing the reservation calendar wide open, absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about that demand. All about the demand. What do you think?
I echo a lot of those sentiments. However, the only caveat I would actually interject is if this continues on for much longer, I can definitely see them turning them on.
Yeah.
I can also see them turning it on post October 1st. I think a lot of people, maybe people on Twitter, have speculated about this as well. I think Hastings, a couple of others have kind of made the argument that if you're going to activate Magic Key sales, do it October 1st at the start of the fiscal year for Disney.
Right.
So I think that's kind of playing in there too. I'll say this. If this continues on to Wildest's point, because I think he is right on this. If it continues on to this beginning of October, let's say, then I do agree. I think they will activate Magic Key sales. But if they go any earlier, I don't expect them to be earlier than October 1st. I'll say it like that.
Interesting.
Right. Because I think they really want it at that fiscal year to make quarter 1 2023 look as healthy as possible, especially after the banger quarter that they had last year for quarter 1 2022.
Right. No, yeah, 100%. That October 1st. And you'll notice too, and this year's a little different because we have D23 in a couple of weeks. Yeah. But on the non D23 years, you'll notice a lot of projects kind of start after that October 1st. When they're starting that new fiscal year, things start kind of moving. I remember like waiting forever for them to start working on Avengers Campus, right? And they announced it. It just sat there. And then after October 1st, they closed down Bugs Land and they really got to moving on it. So that October 1st, Dre is absolutely right on that. That's a start of the fiscal quarter for Disney. And that's when a lot of things start moving and shaking. So. Yeah.
And that's also too, Tron, for example, there's been a real big push to get that open. A lot of people believe they want that open in that quarter right there. So a lot of people are still kind of bullish about November, December, that kind of thing, because I think they really do want some very, very healthy individual Lightning Lane sales right before the end of that fiscal quarter. So we'll see. I mean, we'll this is something to keep an eye on, folks. Not a lot of people are talking about it. I know a lot of people will bring it up at Walt Disney World, but when it starts to affect both coasts, I think that says something. So we'll keep an eye on it for you, of course, and we'll have an update, I'm sure, right?
100%. And our next topic is actually we're gonna travel over to the East Coast, well, Orlando, Universal. Yep. So this was shared by. We'll go ahead and pull up the share screen by Gio Zaroff. And he says here that every single trash can at Halloween Horror Nights looks like this, and it's beyond gross. If you can go ahead and scroll down just a tad. Yeah, this is not. Now, this is at Universal Orlando. I guess they started their Halloween Horror Night kind of event, and it's a huge deal in Florida. I mean, it's a big deal out here in California. Way bigger deal in Florida.
Yes.
This is not a good show, obviously. No. This does not look good. What are your overall first impressions, thoughts?
Well, look, and let's. I think a lot of people were kind of concerned that people were taking this out on the team members that over there at Universal. Just want to go ahead and clarify for anybody. We here at OG55, nor I don't think anybody else should be, okay, taking this out on team members. Okay, that first and foremost, I don't think this is a lack of oversight by them or laziness, or it's not their fault. I think they are understaffed severely because it's really the only way you get to kind of these levels. And apparently, Gio Zaroff was suggesting that this was every single trash can at the event, which is just like, whoa. I mean, that is
that's bad.
If you cannot maintain trash cans across the resort to prevent this from happening at every single one, that tells me that. First off, I wonder what else they're not maintaining at that crowd level, right? But two, I would also say this. It sounds to me that they oversold the event, for sure, especially with how many staff that they had. Which, by the way, Universal, that hey, look, listen, I'll defend you. I do agree with a lot of your practices and policies and stuff like that, too. Okay, we have our differences in some other things, but I'm going to have to go ahead and shame you a little bit for this one because this is not good. You should not be selling the event to this extent if you cannot maintain these parks properly and provide what Disney calls good show, but just good, operational practices. If you cannot maintain a good quality experience for all guests, you do not sell it to this extent. This is particularly poor, a poor decision by Universal, poor decision by management.
Yeah, and look, this is the thing too, is I think that as Universal kind of climbs the ladder in terms of quality, in terms of their themed attractions, themed lands and parks and all that stuff, and as they kind of crawl closer to Disney's level, right? And a lot of times they even meet or exceed Disney in terms of quality. Let's be honest. Universal makes a great product. Once you kind of get to that level, people are going to start holding you to that same standard as a Disney. So it's no longer like, well, it's Universal, so give them a break. No. If they're going to be Disney or potentially beat Disney at what they do, you got to hold them to the same standard. So this is unacceptable. And yeah, I agree. I think, look, the people blaming team members, that's bullshit. Like, this has nothing to do with team members. I agree with you, Dre. This is all about they understaffed and they got more people than they could handle. Now, look, that's not a terrible problem from Universal's perspective, from the bean counter perspective. Like, look, our event is bringing in the money. We got all kinds of, they're like begging to come in. So it's not terrible, but Universal needs to better address the staffing. Now, I will say this. This is kind of where a reservation system, though, would come into handy a little bit.
They had one in the form of how many tickets they sold for the event. They could have kept that number off at any number that they wanted to, right?
That's true.
Expecting on how many cast that they would actually step up for the event. They oversold this, and looks like grossly too, to get trash can levels to this level. So I do apologize, OG. I just wanted to go ahead and clarify that. No,
that's a great point. You're right. I kind of look. It's a hard ticketed event.
Yeah.
So you don't even need it's a great point. You don't need reservations. It's a hard ticket event. You know how many tickets you sold. Yes. You know what days those tickets are for, yada, yada, yada. You know the staffing. You know how many people you need to staff these parks properly. And it's crazy. Now, we've seen this, to be fair, we've seen this across the board, kind of like Disney too. Look, Tokyo Disney, which is like the gold standard of theme parks, the absolute gold standard of theme parks. There was a picture that circulated around the interwebs probably a month or two ago. I think WDWNT kind of ran with it, if I'm not mistaken. But Tokyo Disney Sea had trash cans looking like this as well.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm telling you, Tokyo is the gold standard for theme parks, and they were having these issues too. It's unacceptable.
To be fair to Tokyo Disneyland and the guests there, the trash was neatly stacked. which is endemic of the culture. It could, God bless them. I mean,
and that's why I love.
Yeah, it did look like this, like outside of the disorder.
Right. No, and that's why I love the Japanese, because you're absolutely right on that. Like it was very much.
It was
like
that.
They politely put it on the trash can, like, and you wouldn't see, like, here you kind of see some on the ground and stuff. That would never happen at Tokyo. Like they wouldn't. Yeah, they very respectful culture, and I love it. Absolutely love it over there.
Absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's just kind of indicative of like this overall situation going on right now, and in the States, it's really bad because of this kind of like this labor shortage that we're going through. Disneyland has really been going through it. Yes. This labor, and this is not just like necessarily a theme park thing. It's kind of a global economy thing. The labor shortage is really a problem lately. Ever since we kind of are kind of emerging out of the pandemic. Hopefully these theme park companies, can kind of get it under wraps and properly, staff these parks and kind of bring this out. And make sure it doesn't happen again. This is just a really bad show. Now, keep in mind too, this Gio Zaraf was saying that, like, well, it's every trash can in the park.
Trash can,
right? Because you can kind of almost justify one trash can, right? Like some bag, some ball bag throws in like something that really big, right? So it fills it up, and then everyone else afterwards piles it up. So it's like, okay, well, that's what happened there. But apparently, and again, I'm going off of what he said. That's all I'm saying.
He said every trash can was like this.
Every trash can was like that. So there's none of that going on. This is just staffing.
No, this is just staffing. And like you alluded to before, if you have a reservation type process, or if you have like a special ticketed event process, right, where you actually know how many for that event on that day, how many people are actually going to show up, you have to staff accordingly. Right. That's just how that goes. I mean,
that's the point of it.
That's the whole point.
Entire point.
Yes. You can't. Honestly, I mean, you really have to. Your staffing should meet that supply of guests, and if it can't, you have to limit that supply. You have to, because there are connected thresholds there, which have to be met. And they just do, or otherwise you get this or even worse problems. So, not happy about Universal with that. Not good. It's not just that trash can. Like I said, I mean, trash cans overflow. They do. We don't talk about them here on RG55. What made this particularly relevant was this was a special event where every single trash can was like this. That makes it significant. That suggests poor management decision over there at Universal. So.
100%. Now, should we dive into our next topic, Star Wars related? This is kind of a fight. This is spicy. This is spicy.
It's a little bit. Which part should we talk about? Maybe more alcohol at Walt Disney World, or should we go into the Wish?
You know what? Let's start with alcohol in the parks. Let's start with that one, then we'll kind of dovetail into the others.
Okay. I was kind of thinking the same thing myself, actually. So, trust me, folks, you want to stay here. But I just want to go ahead and bring the story up because we mentioned it on yesterday's live stream. I actually thought it was just Skipper Canteen. Perhaps I took the photo as reference. Maybe I didn't read the article like I should have. That was my fault, people. So I wanted to go ahead and include this segment in here so that we can go ahead and clarify for our readers. It wasn't just Skipper Canteen. It was actually the Diamond Horseshoe, which is basically, if you're familiar with Magic Kingdom, it's basically the Magic Kingdom version of the Golden Horseshoe over here at Disneyland. It was the Jungle Navigation company, the Skipper Canteen, and the Liberty Tree Tavern. So all of these restaurants are actually selling not just beer and wine like they have been before, but they're actually selling mixed cocktails. So kind of hard liquor products. It's a very kind of interesting thing here, OG, because we've talked about it before. Hey, I think, the perception around alcohol, I believe, has changed. I believe it can be sold and regulated, right? We've said these kind of things before. And I obviously agree with that. And it's kind of a gold mine. apparently from Tom Corliss, there have been some at, in management who have really wanted the ability to actually be selling cocktails, mixed drinks, and so forth in the castle parks specifically. And, here we are. Here, we have this kind of first iteration of this. Can we expect this maybe at Disneyland Resort? I think we can, but in time. OG, what do you think?
Yeah, I think. Look, I think that once Disney started to allow, in terms of Disneyland Resort, once they started to kind of allow alcohol outside of like Club 33, and the first kind of move with that was Galaxy's Edge, right, with Oga's Cantina. Once they did that, and then not too long after, they added alcohol to like the Blue Bayou, right? The gates are open now. Like now, I'm not saying that they're gonna have like people on Main Street selling you drinks like beers or whatever. Like they're not gonna have like a Budweiser cart on Main Street when you're waiting for like the parade. I'm not saying that, but I think that they would like the stigma is kind of gone right now with the alcohol at Disneyland. I think people have kind of moved past it, and I think people are kind of okay with it because I think Disney now has kind of proven they know how to manage it. Like we've seen it at DCA. Like, and again, this is all anecdotal, and I know a lot of people are going to jump in the comments. Well, this one time I was there, I saw this drunk person. I get it, but for the most part, the alcohol is very well maintained and well controlled at these Disney parks. I don't see a lot of drunkards running around DCA. It's maintained. It really is. I personally have witnessed them like shut people down, right? Like after a couple drinks, they'll tell them like, that's it. That's all you get, The bartenders, the cast members that handle this stuff are very good. Very, very good. So I do think that we're going to start seeing more alcohol at these parks. I do think the castle parks are fair game.
Yes.
I think Disneyland will see more of it. And honestly, I'm okay with it. As long, and this is a huge caveat, as long as Disney maintains the level of kind of, I don't know what the word would be, like kind of security in regards to like
relative sobriety.
Right. Maintaining the control by how many drinks they give. If they see someone's getting out of control, they cut them off. As long as Disney maintains that, I'm all for it. Look, I know a lot of fans get in here and they're like, well, Walt didn't want alcohol. Well, yeah, Walt didn't want alcohol in 1955. And Walt also allowed you to smoke all over the place at the at the park. I don't see anyone going, oh, well, let's go back to smoking, So
perceptions change. Yeah.
They change. And I think the alcohol thing has changed. And I think Disney has proven they can handle it, and I think it's fine. I have no problem with that. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but that's okay. But I do think more is on the way. Absolutely.
I remember back in 1992, or actually it was earlier than that, probably 1989, when Disneyland Paris was starting to get out of the ground. And Michael Eisner and everybody made it clear they were not going to serve alcohol in Disneyland Paris. Well, now you can buy champagne, in the hub, basically right before fireworks. Things change, times change, mentalities change, right?
Right.
Disney doesn't have any gambling on its cruise liners, right? And that's the policy that they've held ever since the cruise line actually went into operation. Bob Chapek's now talking about sports gambling, 10 years ago, and I believe Tom Corliss was actually saying where this article comes from that we shared earlier, 10 years to the day prior to this publication of this article, Disney, for the first time ever, allowed for alcohol sales at one of their castle parks in the form of Beast's, the Beast Castle, the Beast restaurant, right? So now, from the kind of selling wine at tables, now we have mixed drinks, bourbons, vodkas, cocktails, whatever, at these parks here. I mean, we've made some jumps, and I believe we'll make some more jumps. But I'll say this: I do agree with you. As long as I keep the relative kind of sobriety levels the same, the security levels the same, so forth, I think You can do this. A lot of people were saying, "Oh well, there's already fights at Disneyland. What are you doing or at these parks and so forth?" If you look into the police reports in a lot of those instances, very few of them cite alcohol, even being a factor at all. In fact, the most recent Magic Kingdom fight, well, that's a Magic Kingdom. I mean, probably the driest park in all resort property, and yet you had a big hullabaloo, let's say, in front of PhilharMagic there.
Right.
So, again, I don't necessarily think, again, as long as it's maintained controlled, and the way you do that best is at your sit-down restaurants, where you can control that more than maybe other locations. Maybe if you had like stands around at various places where people just kind of bar hop, right? Maybe that would be a different story. But I think, an OG, and I have said this for a while, I think this is a good move. This is a smart move for Disney to obviously increase the revenues. But hey, if they can increase the revenues off the people drinking, I don't necessarily drink all that much, and stay out of my pocketbook, I'm good.
No, yeah, I agree. As long as they can keep it from infringing on like other people's enjoyment, like where people are just like belligerent, and which again, I haven't seen that. As long as they can maintain that, I mean, I have no issue with it. I have absolutely no issue with it. Times change. Walt's perception of alcohol in 1955 was really kind of centered around like these seaside piers that had like a lot of drunkards and crime and what have you. That's not really a thing anymore. It's not really. He was trying to separate his park from that, but that's not really even a thing anymore. And Disney has proven over 20 plus years of having alcohol at their parks. It's not like you see like some dude like passed out on Main Street with like a jug of like moonshine, just chilling there. It just doesn't have
he's got a paper bag or something. Yeah.
I mean, come on, the cast members, and this is kudos to the cast members. They do a really good job. These bartenders really do a really good job at kind of maintaining that.
Yes.
And every now and then, hey, look, maybe someone pre-games it in the parking lot. I don't know. And they sneak in and things go out of hand. And that's always going to be an option.
Hey, you know what? I have heard some stories. I've heard some tales of people bringing stuff in, especially on grad nights. Oh, boy. Like that is a thing. At least it used to be. Now I believe Disney's a little more strict because they know the game, right? But yeah, I mean, unless somebody's like you said, pre-gaming it before, there you go. I remember a video actually. I don't even know if you can find it on YouTube. Honestly, it's that old. But a long time ago, outside of the Tower of Terror attraction as it existed back then at Disney California Adventure, some kind of inebriated guest, let's say, was getting into it with a security guard outside of there, and that was the only time, and literally the only time I've ever seen a kind of drunkenness go viral, or whatever. I mean, it's very, very rare, honestly, very, very rare. So I think they do one heck of a job, even at a park like DCA, where you do have stands and so forth, where abuse could happen. Remember back then they used to have the parties, right? Electronica. What is it? Allison,
the Mad Hatter.
Mad Hatter, right? The parties where
Mad Tea Party.
Mad Tea Party, right? Sorry about that. Glowfest, everything. People would drink, but even still, I mean, it was very, very well regulated and stuff. And I think Disney overall does a pretty good job of that. Pretty rare that you even hear of stories to the contrary. But talking about guest experiences and drinks,
let's do it.
We gotta get into it here. You've heard us talk about Pete Werner before. Love Pete, obviously. I mean, he is.
We love Pete.
I know. Love Pete. I absolutely love him. Whenever he's got a good rant, whenever he's got something to say, I do listen. It's fun.
Hey, how do you not listen? He's so New Jersey, man. Can't you see him walking here, man? Can't you see him walking here? I love it. I absolutely love it. The guy is great.
I love him. I love him. He's great, old school. By the way, if you guys haven't seen it, if you go on the DCL Fan YouTube channel, it's kind of an offshoot from the Diz Unplugged. The DCL Fan YouTube channel, Pete's on there with the whole group going to Enchanté. That is folks, you will thank me later. Great video. Honestly, great. I won't spoil it for you, but maybe things didn't go quite as planned. I'll leave it at that. Amazing Pete Werner action in that and some other.
If you could actually send me that, maybe I can link it down below so people can,
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. Very easy to find.
And I'll put it down below for everybody. Click on that and check it out.
No problem. No problem. Go in the description, folks. You'll thank me later after this video, of course. Okay. So, recently he did go on the Wish. And he did partake in the Hyperspace Lounge, obviously. But while he was there, he ordered the $5,000 cocktail, the $5,000 drink, the Kyber Crystal cocktail, or whatever they're calling it. I don't even know. This is the big one, folks. And there were certain promises made, and we'll see if those certain promises were kept. But I wanted to go ahead and share this with folks because I thought this was very interesting. We'll pause it in between, as we do. But we'll let it play here.
Got to mention it when we were talking about Hyperspace Lounge in the last show that if you haven't seen it, check out the video where I bought the $5,000 Kyber Crystal drink. And you know what? Let's talk about that for a second because I have not had a chance. I didn't have a chance on that video to really give my thoughts on that. Now, I don't drink, right? I'm a recovering alcoholic. So I did not partake in this. I did it for content. I did it solely for content. And you look at the number of views on that video, and I got my money's worth.
And content he received.
I got my money's worth. Just from the number of subscribers to the channel that we got, which reminds me, if you're not subscribed, please do me a favor right now. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up like button and hit the subscribe button for me.
Subscribe
and
to
the little
DCL.
bell, get a notification every time we put a new video up.
DCL Fan, if you're on Patreon and didn't see where it is.
It's youtube.com/DCL Fan.
Absolutely.
So this is in Hyperspace Lounge, which is the Star Wars themed lounge. We mentioned in the last show that it was quite small for the space, and that was a big mistake on their part because everybody wants to get in there.
You can see the size of these drinks here. They're very, 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 very small. Right? The hand, use that for a reference in terms of the size. Very small. Yes, this space is I will say the space is very, very small. And I will agree with the sentiments shared here. They could have bumped out the borders a little bit. There's a neighboring store there that's a little bit too big. So not the best mix, but we'll go on.
Everybody wants to get in there, and it was constantly packed, and you had to get a reservation to get in. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. But they have this $5,000 drink called the Kyber Crystal, which you can go watch the video and see what it entails. I'm not going to go into all the details. But what we were promised, in addition to this drink, was that our stateroom was going to be themed with Star Wars stuff, that we would have experiences throughout the cruise, and that we would be escorted off the ship by stormtroopers.
So I wanted to go ahead and pause it there just for some emphasis here. Outside of the drink, there's a number of experiences, including the visit to Skywalker Ranch, which he didn't mention right at the bat, but don't worry, we'll get to that as well. But there's also other auxiliary experiences, escorting out the ship by stormtroopers. I guess it's kind of a thing within the cruise line community to get like a theme, kind of a themed stateroom, right? Okay. And have some decorations put up by cast and everything like that. That's kind of a big deal. So I can kind of understand that. And then Star Wars experiences. OG, how are we doing so far? Yeah.
We're doing great. We're absolutely. I'm just admiring Pete's shirt. I think it's fantastic.
Fantastic. We'll continue on. Here we go.
And I'm like, okay, I'm not drinking any of this stuff, but that sounds. Oh, and then of course, there's the invitation for myself and 3 other people to go to the Skywalker Ranch out in California.
That was nice. 3 other people, pretty good. It's okay so far.
Right? Okay. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but chance to go to Skywalker Ranch? Okay.
It's a trap!
That's exactly. Okay, look at that face. Does that face, does that look positive to you? I don't know. We're gonna get into it here.
Womp.
Look at the face. Look at the face. One more time. Here we go.
Wah, wah. Okay. The theming in our stateroom for the Kyber Crystal experience was to have a bunch of Star Wars crap that I could buy in any Disney store thrown on my bed. There was a throw pillow,
Tervis tumblers,
some Tervis tumblers, a blanket,
and a backpack.
Okay, so you can already see the face there. And we're just getting started. OG, how much do you think those items were worth? Just offhand,
well, you mentioned like a throw pillow, like a
throw pillow, blanket, tumbler,
tumblers. Oh man, I bought some Tervis tumblers in my day. Shout out to Drunk at Disney, by the way. Professor Leisure, he is fantastic. Love following him on Twitter. He's awesome.
Good stuff. He's a good follow.
He got me into the Tervis tumblers, but
okay,
they are not exactly premium product. Yeah, probably I would say $7,500 maybe total. Maybe.
I was gonna be generous, 150, 200, something like that. If it's a really quality bag, really quality blanket, really quality, okay, 200. All right. Here we go.
The good shit, right? The good shit.
Yeah, the good shit. All right. Remember, this is $5,000. So just keep that in the math. Okay. All right. Here we
go. This was the theming that happened in my stateroom. What the experiences were going to be throughout the voyage, I have no idea because none happened. None happened.
That's not promises made.
They did deliver the certificate for the Skywalker Ranch. I was disappointed to find out it's a tour of the winery.
That right there is why I wanted to share this video. Now, he goes on, and we will continue for sure. But, OG, I am not pleased with this, okay?
Bad.
This is a bad bait and switch.
It's bad.
Right here. This is
the winery.
The winery.
So they can tell you more fucking shit, basically.
Exactly. Okay. This was not cool. We'll continue because it gets worse than that.
They're not taking me into the THX building. That's what I thought it was going to be. It's not.
And Pete, that's what we thought it was going to be. Okay. Now, if Pete didn't make this, let's say he didn't buy this, and this wasn't known, and people just bought into it. Would that be all right? Would that be okay? Let's think about this.
Right.
It's a winery tour, which you can book yourself separately if you want to. I've come to find out.
Wow.
So there's nothing particularly special about that. And no stormtroopers appeared. We were called the morning, was it the night before or the morning of?
I want my stormtroopers, man. It's a $5,000 drink. Okay.
Go on.
The night before.
The night before we were called to find out, by concierge, to find out what time we would be getting off the ship.
By hyperspace rebels would escort you off the ship.
Hyperspace rebels.
Which we were told originally from Josh DeMaro himself that it was stormtroopers. Right.
That's another interesting thing.
Interesting.
Josh DeMaro himself said this.
Oh, Mr. Daddy Josh.
Daddy Josh comes up
charismatic, wouldn't lie to you. He said hi to you when you saw him in Avengers Campus.
Wink and a
Stand-up guy.
Stand-up guy. Sure. The hyperspace, I think they said hyperspace rebels.
Yeah.
That tells me, okay, you're going to have some cast members in the hyperspace lounge outfit come out, and not necessarily the stormtroopers that were promised. But we'll go ahead.
Right.
So that was in our head. What wound up happening was really embarrassing.
It was one of the servers from the hyperspace lounge.
Confused. Because I have my camera out ready to record the surprise, and she's looking at me like, I don't know what you're expecting, but she didn't tell me there was no surprise coming.
Yeah, no,
But wait, then it's really weird because when she brought us to the exit, the guy that she was talking to said, now is a good time to do it because the gangway is empty. And then we just left the ship. Like it never happened. But I'm thinking we missed something.
Yeah, it was a complete dud. Was a complete dud.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. I mean, I don't even think you got the sound effect, to be honest with you. I think we got more than they did.
Now, if I was still drinking, I would have enjoyed the experience of the drink itself. Whether or not I think that was worth $5,000, I don't know.
That's another thing they didn't do, though. Remember, we asked them, because it was hard to hear the gentleman. Even on the video, he has a mask on. It's very loud in there. What was in the drinks, and they said, we're going to send you to your room a complete detailed list of exactly what you had. They never did.
And yeah, go ahead, OG.
Well, I just want to actually kind of unrelated, though. And Pete's mentioned this a few times now. And I just want to kind of give him, I don't know, I guess you can say a little bit of love or whatever, but I respect him a lot for getting sober and working to kind of overcome that. And that is not easy. For a lot of people that struggle with that kind of addiction, that is not an easy thing to do. And it's not something that I really want to kind of like gloss over, because for him to kind of realize he had a problem and kind of overcome that's big. That's huge. So kudos to him for deep respect for that. So that is something that I just really want to acknowledge, because that is not easy. And he came out on the other end of that, and that is something I think is worth mentioning.
Of course, absolutely, 100%. The road to recovery and sobriety is not an easy one, and all the respect in the world for going over that for sure, OG. I do appreciate you bringing that up. The other thing too, they talk about the cast members, right, and how. And if you see their video on it, which, by the way, also to check out, I'll link you that one as well, OG55, so you can see the kind of full experience that they had. It's honestly not much more than what you just saw right there in a audioless clip that they included in their show, because basically you couldn't hear the guy. The mask thing, okay? Listen, I don't want to necessarily get into it on the show, okay? And the debate and everything like that, okay, this is not where OG55, this is not where we go with these kind of things. However, I will say this, okay? The service roles in particular are very, very difficult, because let's be honest here, you probably have somebody on the cruise liners. You could have a cast member from anywhere in the world, so sometimes they would have an accent, right? You're in a very kind of loud environment. Maybe they speak softly, and then you put the mask on, and then it's tickets, get your stateroom. It's like that, right? I understand there are things with that, right? And again, like I said, it's not my place to necessarily go into that, but got to come up with a solution for that, because that again, it's a $5,000 premium experience,
right? No,
can we at least hear the gentleman or lady serving the drink? Can we at least hear the backstory? Can we at least hear the proper experience as was expected from such a premium product. That's all I'm saying. Maybe a script or something like that. Could we have come up with a solution? I think we could have. Again, dropping the ball here. Go ahead, OG.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, I really actually don't have really much to add to that. I mean, you're spot on, Dre. You're spot on. I mean, it's crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I'm kind of mind blown right now for the amount of money you're putting into this. It blows my mind. It blows my mind.
We have a little bit left. I'll go ahead and share.
Let's do it.
They never did. So,
was there something that said, like, when you order this drink, like a written piece of paper, like, or
No.
on the menu? Like, how did you know that stormtroopers were supposed
Stormtroopers, they said Josh tomorrow. On the preview cruise, on the christening cruise, I'd run into Josh tomorrow, who's the chairman of Disney Parks and Resorts. So he's like the ultimate boss over cruise line.
Mm-hmm.
And I've known Josh for years, and we were chatting, and I wanted to do this then, but he wouldn't let them do it because he said it's not ready yet.
Which, by the way, if you're not going to let them do it and it's not ready, probably a good call, right? Wait until it is ready. It doesn't sound like they waited long enough, let's say. But they still charged full price. And by the way, there's a little bit of a... Yeah. Oh, go ahead, OG.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's not ready. I get that. I think people in general are very, very understanding, very patient. But when you charge the price that you would charge if it was ready,
yes,
and then it's not ready,
yes,
I have a problem with that. I got a big problem with that. So, okay, it's not ready. Daddy Josh, that's cool. That's cool. Then don't charge the price that you would charge if it was ready. That's the issue.
I agree. We'll continue.
I don't know what that meant, but it wasn't ready yet. So he wouldn't let them sell it. So I was hoping I could get it on the maiden voyage. And he was the one who told me stormtroopers are going to escort you off the ship. So I have the head of Disney Parks and Resorts telling me that's what the experience is. I'm thinking he knows what he's talking about.
I would think so
that
too.
That didn't happen.
Oh, I see. Daddy Josh led some people astray. Isn't that interesting?
But Dre, he's got a beautiful smile. The best veneers in the industry. The best veneers.
He uses premium hair gel product in his hair. I mean, OG, I think you can, I can,
I can relate, dude.
You're right. Okay.
I mean,
he's just like us. I mean, he wears the jacket and everything, and he's got the name tag, and he poses with fans, right? 20 people while he was in the park. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, Daddy Josh. Unfavorable DMR. I think there's a little more.
It's disappointing.
That is on the list of things that did not happen. So overall, that experience was disappointing. I don't regret doing it because I'm in the business of content. That's my job, is to create content. And it was great content. There's no question about it. It was great content.
And the view number on that video.
The view, getting some nice views for this channel.
I can say too. Pete, I second that. Great content.
It is great content, and Pete's phenomenal. And I've been kind of putting this up there, but really subscribe to Diz Unplugged. This guy is so great. I am such a big fan of Pete Werner and really the Diz Unplugged in general. They do phenomenal work. But this is not a good show. And then it kind of like the thing too is like for him to say that Daddy Josh told him directly, X, Y, and Z is going to happen.
Yep.
And then X, Y, and Z didn't happen. Oh my God. That's like it's a kick in the balls, dude. I mean, it really is. I mean, that's really like wait, Pete even said it. I heard it from the Parks and Resorts president.
Yes.
I'm assuming it's going to happen. This guy, if anyone knows what's going to happen, is Daddy Josh. And for him to tell him directly, this is what's going to happen, and then it doesn't happen, come on, Josh. That's not acceptable, dude.
It's not acceptable at all. And let's just put it in perspective. Do you think you as a viewer at home, or even Pete himself here, would be a little bit more critical if that was Chapek in that role? Telling him something happened there, and it didn't. Right. Let's be honest, folks. I mean, look, if we're going to criticize, let's criticize. Let's be honest. Let's be fair. And let's be, consistent, right? Josh, unfavorable DMRO. He is the guy. He is the guy in charge. He is the guy that's supposed to maintain these standards across their resort products. I don't see a maintenance of those standards. Now, they go on this video. I won't play it, but they go on, said the drinks were rather lackluster. The people who did try them, not Pete himself, but the people who did try them, right, said they were a little lackluster. And, Pete himself says, hey, look, listen, if I wasn't, doing this channel right, or if I had to do it again, there's no way on earth I would do it again. And the little asterisk, the little exclamation point I want to put on this, automatic gratuity on that $5,000 drink as well. Now, automatic 18% gratuity.
Look, and this is going to be
$900.
$900. And here's the thing, too. I have a real problem with automatic gratuity. Oh, man. And this is the thing that people kind of, I don't know. I might get some heat for this, but I don't care, because it's honestly how I feel. I am very much of the mindset that, like, when you tip someone, I don't care if it's Disney, or I don't care if you go to P.F. Chang's, or if you're going to your local Korean barbecue shop, whatever. It's my mindset that, like, the tip is like, you received great service. I'm going to give you a little extra because, you know what? You took care of us. What a tip isn't is an expected. Like, it's not like you existing deserves it. Like, you're automatically, like, deserving of a tip. No, I'm sorry. I've worked in the food industry before. That's not how I think it works. I think that if you if you're working your ass off and you're providing great customer service and you're really taking care of your customers, you deserve all the tips in the world. Yeah. Huge tips. 100%. And I will be the first one there to give all those tips to you if you're doing that. But just for you just to be our server, just because you by chance happen to get us, you deserve a tip. Why? I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. And this is one thing too. I DoorDash a lot. I work from home. My 9 to 5, I work from home. I DoorDash a lot. DoorDash does the same thing. It's even worse though with DoorDash, because what DoorDash does is they make you tip in advance. So when you select your order and you order your food, you're actually tipping when you order. So what's the incentive for the DoorDasher to bring your food in a timely manner, to provide great customer service when they've already gotten their money? I think, again, I think the tips are not an obligation. I think the tips are an incentivizing thing. And I think that when you mandate them, it kind of creates an environment of, dare I say, complacency, where people feel like, well, I'm getting my 18% anyway, so I can treat you like shit, and it doesn't really matter because you're obligated to give me, in this case, $900 no matter what kind of job I do.
Well, $900. I mean, let's be fair here. $5,000. I mean, that's not just for the drink. That's for the range of experience that you get. Is that $900 going to be distributed around all the people who contributed to that experience, or is that just going to be with the basically the like you said, the lucky cast member who got them for the day at the bar there? I mean, how does that work?
Right.
automatic 18% on that. That's outrageous. That's insane.
That's
You should be likely getting, a good, a fair tip amount for the drinks that were served. Okay, and that should be the tip price, not automatic 18% on $5,000.
Oh
What?
my God.
That's not even, and it's not limited to the bar, right? If it was limited to the bar, maybe, but it's not. It's all these other services that they were supposed to get, which they didn't get.
Oh my God, dude.
I'm not. And look, and you talk about how, you can be treated unfairly if you just get automatic tip. Well, if you look at his Enchanté review, okay, I'm just saying that might have happened. So
Right.
I do have some sympathy with that, with your line of thinking there, OG. I'll say this. I as far as our practice on tipping goes and our family, we usually always at least tip the minimum for sure, and if they go well beyond, we'll go higher than that.
Right.
That's just that and that's kind of okay. This, I'm sorry, I if you're gonna have a premium price, have a premium product. That's
Right.
where I'm at. And look, I understand this is kind of an exclusive thing. Not many people are going to order this. It's also maybe reserved for the whales, let's say. Okay, just to put it kindly. I don't care.
Whoa. Christine Waistlines McCarthy might be a little offended by that.
Yeah.
Whales?
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Whoops. Oh man, this is when I need the drop there, the biggest bargain of all. Anybody who knows that clip, you know what I'm talking about there. But okay, no, okay.
I'm just kidding.
I do apologize. What is it? What is it? Oceanic creatures of size, right? That frequent these theme parks. Okay. All right. So okay, I get it. But I don't care if it's just for them.
Right.
I would have the same opinion if it was an $18 churro and you didn't get what you paid for, right? I mean,
Exactly.
I would have the same kind of reaction. You gotta have, if you're gonna have a premium price, you have to deliver that premium product. This is unacceptable.
No, it's unacceptable, dude. It's unacceptable. And it's just, man, it's we laugh, but it's so bad. It's so bad. Unbelievably bad. And I don't know, man. They really have to fix that. And God, dude. And for Josh to double down and tell Pete, this is what's going to happen. And then it doesn't happen. It's like, imagine if, like you said, Dre, right? Imagine if Bob Chapek told a content creator X, Y, and Z is going to happen, and then it doesn't happen. How would the fan community react to that? Do you think? Look, this whole thing with Pete, it hasn't gone viral. I don't hear about it on Diz Twitter or anything like that. Right? I mean, imagine if that was Chapes, though. If that was Chapes saying, "Hey, Pete, I promise you, this is going to happen," and it didn't happen. Oh my God, the community would
Explode.
be all over the place.
Yep.
Because let's be honest, Chapek, he doesn't have the veneers.
No. And he's already reviled, right? So it's like, okay, all right, consistent with that behavior, or that's right in line, and this is endemic of Chapek himself, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But because it happens with Daddy Josh, Josh unfavorable to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Mistake. It was a mistake.
Yeah.
You know what? OG wasn't ready. Yeah, come on.
Wasn't ready yet.
Give him some slack there. Well, I didn't see any slack given in the price. In fact, I saw an 18% automatic gratuity added to the bill. That's what I saw.
Right.
So what are you talking about here? When it I mean, look, and if it wasn't ready, fine. But like I said, you can't charge that much.
Right. No, exactly. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It got me hot. It got me heated because I don't like seeing this.
No, I don't either. I think it's really, to be honest with you, really fucked up. I really do. I do not like seeing that. I think and I defend Disney a lot. I do. And I defend upper management a lot, because I do think there are some cases to be made with upper management. Like, look,
Agreed.
dude, Disneyland was closed for 400 plus days. They're trying
Yes.
to recoup some of this. I know a lot of key holders get upset, like, oh, this, that, and the other. But like, look, you have to understand, they're trying to keep this whole thing afloat, and I defend them a lot. But
Absolutely.
there's no defending this. There is
No.
no defending this. If the product isn't ready, you don't charge the full price as if it was ready. If I go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse and their cooktop is not working, and they come to my table with a completely rare steak, like not cooked at all, like just straight up rare, and plop it on a plate and say, well, here's your food. We don't have you know what? OG, we don't have the our cooktop is not working right now. Not working. We're gonna give you a rare steak, not cooked at all, but we're gonna charge you the same price. I hope you understand. No, bro.
I don't think so.
I'm not trying to get salmonella, dude. No, you cook that, or I'm not paying for it.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
How it goes.
That's it. I mean, that's and the I know the company is kind of, they've kind of they've become very their make goods are not nearly what they were pre-pandy, let's say, right? And so they're not necessarily in the business of making good on a bad customer experience now, which is a shame. But I think this is when you are. I think this is when you do make good on these experiences, because I think perception is important. Brand, right. This is what inculcates brand loyalty. This is what prevents brand withdrawal. This is people feel that you've taken care of them, so I'll take care of you.
100%.
And we're just, it's hard to see this at just really being deficient at every single level, and not only amongst the common rabble, but also with, like I said, the oceanic creatures as well. It's not fair. It's not good. And we've heard that too from. That's interesting too. We've heard that too from Club 33 members as well, that they feel slighted. So we know this happens.
It happens.
I don't care where it happens. I think it's uncalled for.
No, it is. It is uncalled for. It is uncalled for. So would I buy the $5,000 drink?
Yeah, I'm going to get one for show. For show. I'm getting that for show.
I'm just kidding.
Perfect.
No, I would not get it. Not that, even if I tried to get it, my debit card wouldn't go through. It would get declined. But
there you go. Yeah, this is exactly right. It'd be like, did he get this before running the card or after? He's in trouble. Okay. But this, it's about as natural a transition as any to go from there. But look, listen, good news, folks. D23. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I do apologize. Broke my own rule here. The D23 Expo is coming up, and we are seeing the kind of banners and stuff placed on the outside of the convention center. This was an interesting story that we wanted to bring up because a very interesting, a couple of characters really, but a very particular character makes an appearance in a way that I don't think anybody expected here. This is from Disney promos here, Disney Animation promos, and we can see who's featured outside, and can we name them here? Got Spider-Man, Elsa, R2-D2. Makes sense, right? But then we get a cast of characters that is very interesting, starting off with, I believe it's Maribel from Encanto, right?
Yep.
Buzz Lightyear from, not the typical Buzz Lightyear that we see, but actually from the Lightyear film. And, most notably, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Fascinating. I've never seen Oswald featured so prominently in any kind of D23 Expo kind of like promotional work. Usually these expos, like Elsa, R2, okay, I get it. That it's kind of par for the course. Oswald, though, that's rare. That's really, really rare. And it's interesting because I was talking to Dre about this on the phone earlier.
Sure. When
Disney goes into these things and they decide what characters go on the billboard, above the entry.
Yeah.
It's not an accident. It's not like there's some like schmuck behind the scenes going, you know what? I like Spider-Man. Yeah, put him on.
Yeah.
I like Oswald. Yeah, fucking put him on. They don't do that. This is very, very crafted marketing.
Yes.
You know, I mean, there's a reason why Spider-Man, Oswald, Encanto, Lightyear, all that is on there. It's not an accident.
Right.
It's interesting to me because Oswald, I've been really screaming from the mountaintops that we need more Oswald. This is encouraging. I don't know to what extent or what form it'll take, but the fact that he's on this billboard in such a prominent way, I would be very, very surprised if there isn't some kind of Oswald announcement at this expo. I think it's interesting to say the least.
This is very interesting. Now, I have a couple of theories. Now, the Spider-Man thing makes sense. Apparently, I believe Valiant Renegade actually did a whole thing on toys, merchandise for Disney products and otherwise MCU products. And I think Spider-Man was still at the very top. And honestly, that was what I had heard. Ooh, man, 20 years ago when Marvel, as a private entity, went forward with pitching the movie rights to these other studios like Fox and so forth. And from what I understand, the two biggest ones were Hulk and Spider-Man. Spider-Man was the number one, went to Fox, obviously. Hulk goes to Universal. But so that makes sense for sure. The very interesting thing, though, is like we've been saying, is this kind of other side here. Now, Maribel makes sense, right? When you kind of think about it logically, because as Bob Chapek himself has said, really, they view Encanto as not just a highly successful film, at least on Disney Plus, but their franchise movie going forward within that division, being Disney Animation. They view that as a franchise going forward. They view that, they might make subsequent material, whether that be in the form of a sequel or otherwise, a TV show. So they're definitely going forward there. Lightyear was an interesting inclusion, and that's what got me kind of thinking like, was this were these banners created at a time when they were originally going to put on the D23 Expo back in 2021?
Right.
That's kind of what I was thinking, like, okay, this might be, because there's some indicators that might suggest that, which I'll show you here with this advertisement specifically. We see, I believe, the character from Raya the Last Dragon and Book of Boba Fett. And it's like, that's interesting. These were scheduled to come out various times around the 2021 Expo, not necessarily the 2022 Expo. So I think that's where a little bit of that comes from, at least for the Lightyear thing, because I don't think they would necessarily go with that after the box office performance of that. I understand some people are saying, oh, but it did well on Disney Plus. Well, I haven't seen it on Twitter, so if it has piqued interest, I have not seen that reflected anywhere else. Anyway, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, though. We have said this even on this show before, right? We were talking about, hey, where's Oswald? Apparently, he's at the D23 Expo. I mean, you got to give them credit. I think this is a phenomenal inclusion here for such a highly anticipated fan-centric event.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I think you're spot on. When you mentioned that to me earlier today on the phone about how the banner and the artwork for this might have been done before, expecting it to be the 2021 Expo, because the Pandy delayed D23. We were supposed to get it in 2021. When you mentioned that to me, my mind kind of blew my mind, because, like you said, the Lightyear thing gives it away. It completely this movie did not do well in the box office. It's performing okay on Disney Plus, but I would be very surprised, based on the performance, that there's anything in the future going on for Lightyear. It's, so I do feel like that this is sort of like this older art, but we haven't really seen anything new for Oswald, though. Like, I mean, we haven't seen anything new for him come out or announced or anything. So why is he on there? I get it why Lightyear is on there, because the movie came out and they were planning for that. I get why Encanto was on there because the movie they were, this artwork was set to premiere before those things were released. But why Oswald? Is it something that we're not aware of that is yet to be announced? I hope so. I hope they give us some sort of like Oswald maybe series for like Disney Plus or something. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? I mean, look, dude, and I'm kind of like really reaching here, but we've been talking a lot about Toontown lately because of the reimagining of Toontown over at Disneyland.
Sure.
What if the new gadget? What if the reimagining of Gadget's Go Coaster is an Oswald roller coaster?
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be freaking dope. It's all black and white or something. Who knows? Again, is that likely to happen? Probably not. But it's very, very interesting though that they decided to give him such a prominent role on this artwork, even if it's outdated from 2021. Why Oswald? Like usually we don't see that. And again, these are not accidents. Like when these big companies market to you, they're not accidents. Like when you see like a for example, a commercial on TV for a new car, and everything in that commercial is carefully crafted to target a certain demo, right? Certain gender. The race of the guy and the gal, the age of the people in the car. It's all carefully crafted to target certain people. This is the same thing. This is not an accident. Like I said before, it's not just some dude going, "Oh, I like Oswald. I'll put him on the art." Yeah. It's not that. There's a reason why he's on there. There's a reason why they chose these characters on this artwork, and especially for the entrance of the entire expo. These are the characters they chose. There's something there. We can explain Lightyear. We can explain Encanto.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's
Oswald?
What's Oswald doing there? Now, I was talking to OG before this show and was suggesting that if they keep the D23 Expo, the D23 branding for that particular product line, because I believe the recent Wall Street Journal article indicating that Disney's looking at a Disney loyalty program was suggesting that D23, the fan membership is kind of fan orientated, whereas the kind of we'll do it Disney Prime the service was going to be more casual oriented. I was suggesting, hey, look, listen, have Oswald be the face of the D23 kind of fan oriented club membership, and have Mickey be the kind of face of Disney Prime, so that you can go ahead and bill those that way. Assuming, though, that D23 doesn't just get wrapped up into Disney Prime. Assuming that they stay separate entities. We'll see on that. But, yeah, no, I think it's very interesting. This is definitely the venue to bring out an Oswald because, let's be honest here, if you go on D23 Expo, you probably gonna know who Oswald is, probably. I know a lot of media types from all over Hollywood and so forth. They come here in order to dish about the latest offerings from some of their more major brands. But chances are you're going to know who this character is. But even then, I mean, it's a very interesting use of him. Maybe there's something on the horizon regarding Oswald and why they have brought him back in this way. We were just saying how, hey, look, listen, outside of an Oswald mug, which I think OG found the picture right there. Boom.
There it is. And that's the mug that I saw at Disneyland Resort from Tokyo.
Yes.
One of the best looking merch items I've seen at the resort in a long time, and of course it comes from Tokyo.
Of course, and we'll give credit to DS2C.
Can you read Japanese?
Well, DS2CND. There you go. How about that? As good as it's gonna get, folks. I wanted to include that for the jokes, but yes, from Japan, right? And I do agree with you. Some of the there's that. Oh, maybe I should get this drop as well. The Marty McFly, Back to the Future 3, going over the DeLorean, right? And Doc Brown says, "Oh, look, listen, this is why it failed. It was made in Japan, And Marty McFly says, "What are you talking about, Doc? All the best stuff is made in Japan, right?" Which is endemic of that time. Doc says, "Unbelievable, that whole thing." I will echo that sentiment regarding Tokyo Disneyland merch. The best stuff is made in Japan. What in the world? Okay, like, can we get some of that here? Come on, guys. Okay, whatever. All right, fine. The
This
retail
is good
game,
looking
incredible.
merch. I love
It
that
is.
mug. I love how, I don't know. What, like, a lot of the stuff that we see like at Disneyland Resort, it's just kind of gaudy, and they go too far with it, and it's just kind of like this Oswald mug. When I saw it, I'm like, oh man, I'm kind of tempted. I honestly, it tempted me. I was like, oh, I don't know how to get it. I mean, this is really good looking stuff, and anything Oswald, I don't know. I'm kind of biased.
I know. I'm kind of I'm biased as well. I like to see that that character featured. I like to see his inclusion in the various parks, right? Beneficent Street is a perfect place for him. They had the walk around character for some time. I do like to see Oswald included. And I think a lot of Disney fans, right? I think they like to see him included as well, especially people who know the story and so forth. I think it's very, very good. Some kind of what is it? What is it? Park normies, let's call them, right? They go and they say, "Hey, what's that funny looking Mickey over there?" He's
Right.
It's kind of funny to see that kind of thing take place there, but no, yeah, I mean, you saw the smug feature there, which I thought, okay, that's very interesting, and it was Tokyo for sure, which was. Also goes into our kind of supply discussion and so forth that we've been having lately, but to see him featured so prominently on the marquee of the D23 Expo, and apparently he is in the kind of banners that are outside as well. I mean, I'm glad. Let's see. I'm hoping that indicates maybe something on the inside regarding an announcement for a show or something like that. I'm hopeful, but good to see it, and I thought we could finish this off with a good feel-good story. Let's say.
Exactly. More Oswald is always welcome. We love Oswald, and I think he's been criminally underutilized since they bought him. I mean, yeah, we got the epic Mickey video game. Yeah, they named a gas station on Beneficent Street after him. But really, Oswald deserves way more love. I mean, he is the.
I'm going to be honest with how little that they've been able to leverage this character in exchange for what they gave up for him in the form of Al Michaels. I think NBC actually got the better end of that deal for sure. Right. They were able to help launch. They were able to use Al Michaels' prowess to launch their Sunday Night Football product, and that has sent that into the stratosphere, which is a ratings killer. I mean, it is just huge. So yeah,
huge.
Huge. I'm hopeful that Oswald himself can earn his keep as well as maybe Al Michaels did for NBC. But crazy story, folks. Good to see he's back.
100%. Well, Vash guy, Dre, brother, I appreciate you coming on, brother, and talking all kinds of stuff today about attendance, Oswald. We talked D23. We dove into the Star Wars $5,000 ripoff. I mean, drink. All kinds of stuff. I really do appreciate you coming on, brother, and talking shop with me. If you can let everybody know where they can find you on social media, plug that Twitter. We're trying, for those of you at home that are not aware, we're trying to get Dre to 1,000 followers on Twitter. We will be doing, once he hits 1,000, we're gonna be doing a really fun kind of giveaway to kind of celebrate. And so we're trying to get him to 1,000. Where are you at right now, Dre? Where are we at?
Let me check. That's a good question, sir. Good question. It's going up pretty good here. 983. As current
983.
983 followers right now. We're very, very close. We're not that far off, guys. We're just not. I'm telling you, 983. There you go.
We got the ticker.
There you go. You got the watch there. I like that. We'll go ahead and keep it on that ticker as we get deeper into it. But as far as when this was recorded, this is about 3:54 p.m. or so PT on Saturday. About what it is. So hey, keep them coming. I really do appreciate the follows. Honestly, I really take that seriously. I do appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. And I will treat that with the utmost respect. I can assure you of that. Anyway, yes.
I just want to say, if you think his Twitter is awesome, check out his OnlyFans. That's unbelievable.
Oh no! Oh gee, why did you tell them? Oh, I told you that in private. Damn it! Oh gee, no, folks, no OnlyFans here. No OnlyFans here. I will apologize. I'll leave that to Amber Heard and others. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But no, look, listen. If you like the content, please go give this video a like, a subscribe. Honestly, I mean, you thought it was going to be a slow news day. I'm sure you thought it was like, oh, what is OG55 going to talk about? There's nothing in the news right now. We put out a 45-minute video on grass. I mean, come on, we're doing it here. I mean, we are providing the content, and I think our audience does appreciate it. So go ahead and give us a subscribe if you like videos like this. I think you'll enjoy the ride. D23 Expo is coming up, obviously, too, and we'll have a lot of coverage surrounding that, I'm sure. But if you want to find me on video form, well, it's going to be the channel you're watching right now, ironically enough, at OG55 at Freshly Squeezed, your source for juicy news and info squeezed fresh right from the Grove.
But really, nothing compares with a freshly squeezed.
There you go.
Perfect.
So, thank you, sir.
Perfect. And shout out to Adam the Woo for the phenomenal audio clip. He is amazing. We love Adam the Woo. He's awesome. He really is awesome.
Love Adam the Woo. I love that drop too. It's pretty fun.
Really great stuff. Thank you all for watching. Comment down below with all your thoughts on regards to the D23 Expo, Oswald, the $5,000 drink over at the Star Wars thing, everything we talked about, the attendance over at Disneyland Resort. Comment down below. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day.